we'll get onto it when we talk about Elon Musk and Twitter. It's like you have the choice to listen and view content and the choice not to listen and view content. And I feel like those people that view content they don't want to watch are the ones that are creating the most noise and I'd say issues around particular content. It's like we all consume content suitable to each other. And it's like, just consume what you want to consume, ignore everything else. And I think that's where a lot of problems come in is everyone feels now that they have a voice because of social media. I was telling you this earlier, I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I love it when we deliver great results for our clients and we're very creative. I love it when we're engaging with it in the right way. But I feel like a lot of the problems in society today are caused by social media platforms. And I feel like there's a bubble around social media. And I said this earlier, I was like, I feel like there's a big social media bubble and it's going to explode in the next few years. And it's almost going to be like an online social media civil war. And it sounds bad and it sounds scary. I don't want to daunt anyone who's listening. This is just my views and opinion based on just looking back at the last 10 years in terms of how social media, its uses and how people engage and their user experience in social media platforms changed over time. And I think social media companies need to take more responsibility completely. I don't think they do. I think they do enough to appease government or the people to say, oh, yeah, we banned this person because you said so. Oh, yeah, we're fact checking. But no, more needs to be done because there's so much messed up content out there that is still accessible. And it's like, well, how hard is it to block it or turn it off?
Like so many kids watching TikToks with competitions of who can live on a block of cheese for the longest. It's not healthy. And there are younger and younger content creators. And I think brands have a responsibility to not work with these kids who are like 13, 14 monetizing their platforms. Like they're still in school. They should be putting all that stuff out that's going to be online forever.
Yeah. I personally think schools should ban mobile phones. I don't think kids should be taken, whether you're in high school or not, whether people agree with me, disagree. I don't think they should because there was a survey done. I can't remember the name of the company. I will find the details and share it. And they asked kids in China what they wanted to grow up to be, inspired to be. And the natural response was, I want to be an engineer. I want to create this. I want to do this. It was like they were very career driven. The same question was asked in the US. I want to be an actor. I want to be a social media influencer. I want to be on YouTube. And I'm like, well, how many people want to aspire to be an engineer? How many people want to aspire to be, an analytics person? How many, we talk about, women in industry, women in tech, how many, they're not being influenced, I think, in the right way. They're being influenced and to see all these people become famous and rich and start making good money from social media. They think that's their answer to the future, but it has a lifespan. Not everyone's going to be Mr. Beast.
TikTok's not going to be around in at least its current form in the next, few years. Look at what happened to what was that social media app that died off? This I can't even remember it.
Vine?
People just made rooms and talked over each other in it.
Clubhouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've got it on my phone and I had it. And I liked the stigma around it because it was invite only and it was only iPhone. And the reason I was really sold on it, because I ended up in a room with Mark Zuckerberg. I was one of 5,000 people listening to him talk. Clubhouse is like, well, this is unreal. I'm getting insights from, the owner of Meta himself. And I was lucky to get into that room at that time. But I think I haven't really touched it this year because it just died off. The content just became BS. It just became irrelevant. I was going on to, I was like, no, I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to talk about that. And everybody's talking over each other. It was just really became annoying more than anything else. And I was like, nope, done. Turn the notifications off. And we had a strategy to launch Clubhouse ourselves, but we didn't really do it. So there's a lot of platforms like Vine. So this is, I think the unrealistic element of specifically the younger generation is that you need to have different aspirations. Not to say that I'm not saying you can't do what you want to achieve. You should always go out and achieve what you feel like you can achieve, but don't be influenced by other people because the best performing influencers provide value. I think, in terms of the clients we work with. So if we're working with furniture clients, we want to go to people that are, top level interior designers, people that give advice that people follow and then go and buy off their recommendations. And that's where I think it works quite well. But I say it's just, it's the dangerous predicament that we're in terms of where it's going. And I just see like our kids are going to get left behind in terms of the areas that they should really focus on.
I can't answer that. I don't know. I mean, even when I was younger, like my job didn't exist 5-10 years ago. Or when I was picking my options, Instagram wasn't even a thing. I didn't even have an iPhone till like 7 years ago. So it's going to be completely different in 5 years, isn't it? But I think as long as the kids are getting educated and they know that what they're putting out there is going to be out there forever.
Yeah.
And these brand deals might fall through. Not everyone can be an amazing dancer and actually make money off it. There's loads and loads and loads of creators, but that doesn't mean that they're making a living off it or that TikTok is going to exist in that form forever. And that's not, you can't put all your eggs in one basket, which is why I suppose we offer a few services. Like Instagram went down last week.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh God, everyone went nuts. Imagine if we were an Instagram agency.
We were like, we were seeing sort of drop off in performance because the ads that were going on Instagram weren't serving. We were just serving on Facebook. It was an absolute nightmare. And the client's like, we've seen a drop off. What's going on? I was like, Instagram's down. We can't do anything about it. Yeah. The last question before we round up is obviously in the news came out, Elon Musk bought Twitter. We were talking about this before. I just want to get your views on it.
I don't know what's going to happen. I'm biding my time. I'm still using it personally. To be honest, a lot of the businesses that we're working with, we just keep it ticking over as a customer service platform. I'm not advertising on it. Advertisers are dropping off. Twitter's saying that its usage is the highest it's ever seen, but then talking to people, everyone's moving over to Mastodon. Are you on that?
No, explain it.
So I suppose it's newish. It's the closest social media platform like for like to Twitter. Is not even 1 million people on it yet, but that's the new thing that people are boycotting Twitter for, which I do think is a bit dramatic. Twitter's not going to die off. Everyone loves streaming, even, just the Bake Off feed. I live for it. So I'm going to stay on Twitter. I think as far as getting rid of the bots, he's got a really great point. There's up to 60% of web traffic is bots, and they're not there for good. They're using AI to create fake people profiles, which obviously he thinks influence the election results and spread misinformation. And, they just click through your ads and butcher your ad spend. So I think in terms of getting rid of the bots, yes, he's leading the way and other platforms should follow suit. The $8 a month fee to get your verification tick completely takes away from the whole point of the verification tick. It's just anyone with a credit card, isn't it?
I mean, I guess what was controversial when he said it's going to be $16 for someone who uses pronouns they, them. And I think that's a concern a few people have is like, is it like, this whole right wing, left wing? I'm always saying I'm centre, to be honest with you. I look at things logically. I look at the data, I look at the insights, and then make informed decisions. But I get it. And that's why I say there's a social bubble that's going to explode where it's going to be like people that see themselves on right wing against left wing, and it's just all going to come together on multiple platforms. I hope it doesn't, but a little fear in me feels like that's what might happen. And I feel like the stigma around Elon Musk, and there was a lot of fake news about people leaving. You see the two people that did the interview. Yeah,
and then apparently they've been asking dozens of people to come back. I think it's a totally messy piece of press, and in terms of how the platform's actually going to change, nothing's happened yet. And I don't believe anything I see on the news until I see it in my feed.
Yeah, I always say not until it's like on something like Sky News, BBC News, and then, it's kind of like more legitimate. Then I was like, it's not really real. But, that's been a great conversation. I want to thank, obviously, yourself, Fiona, for joining. I know you're going to join us for another episode where we're going to be talking about seasonal social media tips for people to help you with the upcoming period. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And for anyone who's listening, we hope you found that useful. Again, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe across all our social media platforms. If you have any comments or questions for myself or for Fiona, don't forget to use the hashtags Mr. Bobble, hashtag Ask Bobble, or just hashtag Bobble Pod, and reach out to us on our platforms or on our website, www.bobblepod.co.uk. And we'll look forward to catching you on episode 23.